Hello and welcome to another episode of All Elite Arcade. It is Monday, the day we talk video games here at AEW Games. As always, I'm Evil Uno here with my good friend Chugs, and we're going to be discussing the video games we've been playing this week. Chugs, I don't know about you.
Yes.
I played a lot of video games, but I did not play a wide variety of video games.
I'm with you. I'm with you this week. Like I definitely put a lot of time in regards to gaming. It's going to be a lot of the same stuff that we've been talking about the past few weeks. I did play a couple of new things, but I'm hoping next week to be able to play even more stuff. But it was a good week of gaming for sure. It was a good week.
Oh yeah, me too. And my largest time sink by far. And this is a game we talked about, both of us as well. But this week, I don't know what the exact amount of time it is, but Ghost of Yotei ended up taking most of my time. I'm now I would say in the last act of this game, but it could surprise me at this point. I just feel like I've explored most of the map, and looking at the overarching map, I think I'm in the last location that is going to be unlocked. For all I know, though, it has led me to a few surprises. It might pop me out to a different place, to be seen. Right now, I talked about this last week, how it was very challenging when it came down to duels, but I was like, but attainable, attainable difficulty. I'm now in the later parts of this game, and those duels, while still attainable, are definitely on a level now that I understand, like, okay, I was just scratching the surface of how difficult the parrying and the switching weapons could be. Because now, when you're late into this game, slight spoilers, but you have 6 different weapons that you can switch around with, 5 different weapons that you can switch around with, and then 4 different ranged weapons and 4 different items, such as like throwing stars or kunai, which they're not stars, they're just daggers, or smoke bombs, or explosives, or setting your weapon on fire is another item. So at this point, I have so many things that I can mix and match when I have these battles that there are answers to specific enemy types. So, if an enemy type comes in with a pole, you have to take double swords to kind of rock, paper, scissors the situation. So one weapon is better against a different weapon, and then it's on even ground for a few others, and it's weaker to others. But now it's exponentially so. I come in, there's a fight with 7 people. I might have to break down the shield with a certain weapon for 4 of them, then switch to a fire-based attack based on the clothing they have to try and reduce their health and increase the amount of damage I have. And then also, when you get to the duels, they also are capable of switching weapon sets as well. So as you're switching weapon sets, they could start a combination, and do 3 katana attacks, and then on the 4th one, switch over to the pole arm, and then now you have to switch yours too to try and battle them as well. So the duels have gotten incredibly challenging. I think I'm at a point now where I think I have the last 3 duels sorted out on my map, and 2 of them I've had to quit and decide, okay, I'm going to come back when my stats are a little higher, once I've accumulated, or upgraded the top end of my armor, as well as gotten all most skills, because it is now challenging to the point where I'm like, okay, this is end game stuff, and if it's not end game stuff, I don't even want to know what the end game stuff is going to be like. It is still super rewarding, though. I'm having a blast. The duels are great. The coming into little villages that have been overrun by the enemies, that's all still incredible, be it stealth wise or if you're just going gung ho through the front door. It's all been fun. I'd even say I think this is better than the first game.
Wow.
Maybe the first game has I think the story of the first game is a lot less one-noted than this one, because this one is very much a revenge story through and through. Here are your 6 enemies. I want them dead. That's practically like the main story of this game. It could have some twists and turns later on. There's even been a twist and turn a little bit in the middle. But the first game, I think, had the better story. By far, the second game has more content, has the combat's more fleshed out, and even the mission types are more fleshed out. There are some repetitive mission types, but you're doing such a wide variety of them, it never feels like an Assassin's Creed where you're just doing follow missions over and over and over and over and over. So I'm having a blast. It's great.
That's awesome. And Uno, I wanted to ask more too about the open world, because I keep hearing about how amazing the open world is. So there's just like a ton to do, right? And it's just so fun to explore and find these little areas and towns to explore.
Yeah, so like most of the it is spread out in multiple smaller open worlds that are connected by either like a mission bridge, so you have to go through a specific mission to get from one location to the other, or maybe it's an ocean that you have to traverse, but you have to go through like a tunnel of fighting to get from one to the other. But then once you're at these different locations, they're fairly big. Even if you were going to do the main missions, you would be missing out on, on each location, 40 extra pieces that you can use to either improve your kunai, improve your armor, get different armor sets. There's a lot of customization in this one. Not only in armor sets, like at this point, I think I have 13 different armor sets, I think. And you have a ton of just visual aesthetic stuff. So I have 30, 40 masks. I have 40 hats. I have plenty of things to play around with. You can really make your character your own. But you only are kind of rewarded with that stuff if you go off the beaten path. And every time you go off the beaten path, you always find something. It's not sparse with content. This one, you walk in one direction, you'll see a visual cue in the distance. Maybe it's a tree that's a different color. Maybe it's an animal that you start following, or you see like the tip of a building. If you end up going in that direction, you're always rewarded with something, be it, a cosmetic item or a new skill or something that helps you level up your existing skills. So yeah, it's been great. It's got the trickle of content they give you is perfect. Every like 10 minutes, I've finished a small block and I've gotten something. And that's just been dominating most of my time this week. But that's not the only game I played. I will say I did put a little bit of time into some other stuff. I did want to talk about this new game. By the time this podcast comes out, the game will be out on Premium Edition. If you pre-bought the pre-order for Premium, you can play it now. If not, it will come out in a few more days. But that's Outer Wilds 2, or Outer Worlds 2, excuse me. I get that so confused with the other game. I've only scratched the surface of this game. I've only played an hour and a little bit, and in those games, it's not a whole lot. But there is some things I do want to talk about. First, it still has the same tone. It has that humorous, sarcastic tone that it has from the first game. Instantly, you create your character, you're aboard a ship, and you're right away into the world building and the mission. You get sent into a location. You're here to protect them from... You essentially work... probably for the bad guys right off the bat. Not sure at 100%, but it is at least implied that you might be part of the bad guys. And I do want to talk about some of the stuff because I have not really gone too deep into this. So I can't talk about, the dialogue too heavily. I can't even talk about the combat that heavily. I've only really just started. They have their own VAT system, very similar to the first game. It has a slowdown function. It tells you the percentage of where you were to aim at, so on and so forth. And you can play this in first person, third person as well. I've kind of tested a little bit of both. Both are gorgeous. But that's the point. Of all, the biggest thing is it seems so refined compared to the first game. The facial animations are incredible. The first game was very colorful. This one is very colorful, but you can see the definition. You can see the lighting changes as well. It looks very, very nice. I'm playing this on my PC right now, and so I'm playing it on my most powerful of devices, and it looks gorgeous. I'm really excited to play more of it. I wish I had more to talk about. By next week, though, all of you will also have had a hands on it. We'll all be discussing it simultaneously. It looks like it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, Uno, I can't wait to jump into this. I really enjoyed Outer Worlds 1, the bit that I played of that one, and 2 just looks like even more of that game, but better in a lot of different ways. So I'm glad to hear that functionally it was working great and the facial animations are good. But yeah, I really like the world of Outer Worlds, so I'm really excited to jump into Outer Worlds 2. It looks sweet.
Same, and we'll talk a little bit about the Fallout release that's about to come out, but it is a type of game that I feel like we were getting a ton of before, and now it does feel like we've had a lull of those first-person story games, with branching dialogues. We've really moved on to the third-person, behind-the-shoulder action game, and that's been prevalent for the last few years. So this feels almost refreshing to get back into, at least for me. So I'm excited to put more time. I will definitely be talking about it next week. And then the last game I played also came out this week. Very short talking about it because there's not much more I could talk about since I've already talked and gushed about the first game so much. But PowerWash Simulator 2 just came out. And if you don't know what PowerWash Simulator is, it is pretty straightforward. You're presented with a dirty item. Every game opens usually on a vehicle. You have a dirty car, and you just meticulously spray every element on it until it's clean. The second game is out now. It has online co-op. It has a story mode, much like the first game. There's brand new locations, brand new items. If it's anything like the first game, they're probably going to have a bunch of partnered DLC later on, some free, some paid. They had a Final Fantasy VII one on the first game where you could, clean some Shinra stuff. You could clean all kinds of Final Fantasy. You could do the asteroid, I believe. You could clean that as well. They had SpongeBob stuff. There's probably going to be a lot of updates on this, but I've already played 4 hours of this, and I'm having a blast. If you like the first one, you'll like the second one. The only main difference, I believe, they added ray tracing. There's a lot of like the water physics and the lighting and the reflections are incredible. But in the end, mechanically, it is still the same game. You are spraying off dirt. There's not a whole lot you can build up on that. But I've been up, even with not a bunch of, quality of life updates, which I don't know what they would do. I'm having a great time. It's the perfect turn your brain off game and just like slowly watch something.
I was going to say, PowerWash Simulator seems like one of the most satisfying games that you could ever play. It seems so satisfying. Just watching people play it, I'm like, oh, this feels nice. This feels nice. I got to try it.
Oh, it's a good time. It's a sit down on a Sunday, do nothing game. That's the perfect one for sure.
Yeah.
What about you, Chugs? I know you've been playing a bunch of stuff as well.
Yeah, I definitely got a good amount of gaming in. Again, predominantly, it's more of the same things that I've been playing, but I definitely have some new insight on these 3 games. It's my current top 3 as far as games that I'm playing in some capacity almost every single day, with the exception of Expedition 33 because I'm only streaming that game. But, of course, Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket, Expedition 33, and absolutely Hollow Knight Silksong. So I just want to quickly start with Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket. No real updates as far as my collection and the battles and things like that. However, by the time this episode airs, I think a couple days from today, this being on Monday, there's going to be a huge new update for Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket where they are going to introduce Mega Evolution EX Pokemon, which is so awesome. And these Mega Evolution EX Pokemon apparently are going to be the most powerful cards that you could possibly use. However, and this is wild to think about, if you eliminate your opponent's Mega Evolution EX Pokemon, you get 3 points. So you automatically win the battle.
Whoa, okay.
Automatically win. Obviously, a normal EX Pokemon, you get 2 points, but these Mega Evolution ones, you get 3 points. So in my brain, I can only imagine how powerful these things are going to be. Like the amount of HP they're going to have.
Be hitting for 150 each of them for sure, right?
Right. It's going to be wild. But I also wonder how the energy is going to be distributed, because obviously I'm guessing you're going to need a ton of energy to use a Mega Evolution EX Pokemon. But I'm just so excited to see the Pokemon that do have Mega Evolutions. I'm so excited to see how the card game itself changes, because again, the thing I really encourage and love so much about the Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket is how the battles themselves are constantly evolving with different tools and enemy types and different battle techniques and stuff. It's really awesome. So when they add these Mega Evolution Pokemon, I think that's really going to throw the battles for a loop, and I can't wait for it. So very excited for that update, which I should have a lot more to talk about next week's episode, because then it will be out, and I'm definitely going to be playing it a lot. But once again, I did mention Expedition 33, which I am playing my very first playthrough completely on stream. And once again, just absolutely enjoying this game. I'm now in a situation, and this isn't really any detailed story spoilers at all. This is more of like a game mechanic thing that I'm learning from Expedition 33. But just in case, very, very minor game mechanic spoilers, is the game certainly throws you in situations where you are forced to fight with other party members that maybe you haven't used a ton, but they do it in such a cool way. Not only with the story arc stuff, which I won't go into, but obviously these characters that you aren't using, they're leveling up alongside the main party that you're using, so you can still get new skills and things like that. But most importantly, what I've noticed is in scenarios like that, how important the Pictos and the Lumina system really, really is. Because before I was thrown into a situation where I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to win any battles? I barely use these characters at all. But then when you get your Pictos set up and your Lumina set up, all of a sudden your character has a lot more health, a lot more attack power, a lot more options at their disposal, which I really, really enjoy. And what I like about it too is I've had so much fun with playing with the main party that I've been playing with, but all the characters have different bonuses and perks and fighting styles that are so different and individual to each character. So being thrown in this situation and having to use characters that I don't normally use, I'm learning new battle mechanics and different things that you can do. I'm just constantly learning about the battle system in this game. And for a turn-based RPG to just constantly hours and hours out and hours in be evolving this much is so cool. It's just such a really, really awesome feature. So once again, I'm enjoying Clair Obscur Expedition 33 so much. Hopefully I will finish the game by the end of the year. But again, open world, there's so much to do. But the thing I'm most impressed with for sure is how the battle system just constantly evolves. And speaking of games that I'm impressed with, of course, I'm talking about it. I'm probably going to talk about it for weeks and weeks to come. But Hollow Knight Silksong, which I am also playing on stream, but on my own individual file, Uno, I am now at a point, and again, also minor spoilers for Hollow Knight Silksong, I am 99% completion. I am right towards the end of being able to say that I've finished this game. I can't get over, dude, how absolutely massive Silksong is.
You were telling me off screen that even with 99%, you haven't received all the maps, you haven't unlocked everything, and so therefore you still have things to do.
Yeah, so I'm in a situation now where I've gotten all the mask shards, all the spool fragments, all the silk skills, all the tools. I've fully upgraded my needle. I believe I've got all of the main abilities that you can get as well. And still, I have over 40 enemies that I've not discovered. I have not found all the maps. There are these things, and again, minor spoilers, there's these things towards the very end, just bonus things to collect called mementos that you can go around and explore. And whether that's doing different challenges or fighting a boss that I've never seen before, there is so much happening. The second I got done with Act 2, I thought, wow, what a massive game. I can't believe how huge this game is. And then you start Act 3, and it's unbelievable how much game Team Cherry has packed into Silksong. I totally understand why it took so long, because you can tell so badly the love and care that went into this world. There's so many little details with bosses and enemies in the environment that is constantly surprising me. Everyone is still discovering stuff over and over and over again. But I'm really taking my time, Uno. I think I'm going to do everything that I possibly can before I do get the true ending of this game, or at least I'm going to try to. But my goodness, as well, I remember too, as I was saying, as the game was going on, I felt like the difficulty wasn't spiking like a ton. I felt like because of the abilities that Hornet had, I was able to output a good amount of damage, and the fights felt really, really smooth. If anything, I felt like I was getting better, and the bosses and the enemies were getting a little bit easier. Act 3, that is thrown out the window. The last few bosses that I'm fighting, I'm assuming at this point I at minimum have 4 more major bosses that I have to fight. And there's one subsection where you have to fight 3 different bosses in 3 different sections. These bosses in Act 3 are so challenging. They're so cool. Like the lore behind them is awesome. The fights themselves are great, but it's no joke. It has really, really been a challenge. But again, when I eventually overcome it, it's going to be so rewarding. So yeah, Silksong is a tough game, but a rewarding game and such a fun game. So I can't wait to finish it, and I'm going to be so sad when it's over. It's so good.
Well, I mean, thankfully, this is late in the year. We're going to be talking so much about this game too when it comes to like Game of the Year and when we start voting on like story and mechanics and
Right.
stuff. Is there late, because I find this game has really incredible music, but you have to find it in different situations, in different battles or interactions with certain characters. Late game, do you think the music is ramping up in any way? Is it still just as good?
So I think the music itself throughout the whole game has been great, and I wouldn't say the music has gotten better, but it's stayed right there. Like there are just so many great themes. Moss Grotto is such a great intro theme. The Bone Bottom theme is great. It fits the environment so well. The Choral Chambers theme gives me chills. Like I love that song so much, and so many of the epic boss fight themes, like with Widow and Last Judge and things like that. But you get more incredible music, like brand new music in Act 3. For example, the boss that I'm currently stuck on just has such an amazing boss theme that fits so well, and it goes so cool with the scenario that you're in. So yes, the music stays consistently incredible in this game. It's so awesome. Yeah. But yeah, so that's my update on Hollow Knight Silksong. But I did get the chance to play a new game. I wanted to make sure I played something new to be able to talk about it on the podcast this week. And I was very, very excited for Ninja Gaiden 4, which recently released. I love the Ninja Gaiden games. I've never beaten one, but I do love them. They're very, very challenging games. So obviously with Ninja Gaiden 2 Black recently being remastered and released in preparation and hype for Ninja Gaiden 4, couldn't wait to play this game. So not only did I play Ninja Gaiden 4, but I decided to play it on my ROG Xbox Ally X to really, really see what this machine can do. And let me tell you, I have not been disappointed at all. The game looks absolutely beautiful at 1080p. It has hit a solid 60 frames per second the entire time. I have not had any hiccups whatsoever as far as frame rate. Again, the game itself looks absolutely beautiful on that screen. I do want to mention too, the speakers on the ROG Xbox Ally X are the best speakers I've ever heard in a handheld ever. Like bar none. It's unbelievable. I have the volume so low. You can go up to, like, I don't know if it's 50 or 100 or how high you can go up. I have it at 12. And like the bass and the sound quality that comes out of this little machine is wild. So they absolutely nailed that big time. Once again, too, I really like the little bonus here of, with the game, it'll change your watt usage based on if you have it plugged in or not. So if you have it plugged in, it automatically goes into turbo mode and it will have its absolute best performance. But then if you have it unplugged, it'll go into performance mode and use a little bit less watts. So I didn't experiment too much with switching back and forth. I had it plugged in pretty much the whole time for turbo mode, and it ran great. But then I also did unplug it for a little bit, and it was running really well on performance mode also. But in regards to the game itself, and not just the ROG Xbox Ally X, which ran the game fantastically well, the game itself it's more Ninja Gaiden, and I mean that as a huge compliment. The combat is really fun. All the new moves you can do, it's that Ninja Gaiden violence that everyone loves. Again, Platinum Games and Team Ninja working together has been so cool. I think the intro tutorial section is maybe the coolest thing they could have done to intro you to this game. They do a great way about teaching you the mechanics, while at the same time there's all this epic stuff happening while the credits, like the intro credits, are rolling at the same time. Cool. It's really cool. It has me very intrigued in the story. I can only imagine how epic these battles are going to get as well. But man, Ninja Gaiden 4 has been really fun so far. And once again, it runs great on the ROG Xbox Ally X. And another small thing too is I know Steam Deck does the compatibility test as well, and the Xbox handheld does the exact same, where it'll say whether or not it runs great, whether or not it runs well, and it'll give you the rundown of everything in regards to that too. So Ninja Gaiden 4 has been super fun. I think I'm going to do my entire playthrough on my ROG Xbox Ally X, but I also want to play Little Nightmares 3 on my ROG Xbox Ally X as well. So there's so many games, dude. There's so many games.
I'm actually excited to hear that the Ally's doing so well, because it would suck to buy a premium device and the first game a week later to come out does not operate properly on it. So just Ninja Gaiden 4 is kind of a beast graphically too. It's not anything.
Oh yeah,
it's brand new. It's not running an old engine either. So I'm very excited to see more new stuff on that Ally.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see as time goes on, but at least in my experience, again, the ROG Xbox Ally X is certainly the most powerful handheld that I've ever used. So if you're looking for a high-end performance-based PC handheld, so far the Xbox Ally X has just been incredible, and I'm sure they're going to continue to update and move forward and things like that too. But I've really enjoyed it. And that's about it as far as games that I played. But the last thing that I want to mention, and we're going to get more into this when we jump into the news. So I'm just going to briefly talk about this, but I have to, because anyone who knows me knows how much I love Halo.
I knew how important this was going to be for you too. So.
Yeah, so important, dude. So this past Thursday, there were the Halo World Championships, and there were a bunch of rumors about what Halo Studios was going to announce. And fortunately for me and all Halo fans across the world, we are getting Halo Campaign Evolved. And that's going to be in 2026. So it'll be around the 25-year anniversary of the very first Halo Combat Evolved. They are remastering the campaign in Unreal Engine 5. A couple of little bonuses. Again, you could do 2-player split screen. You could do 4-player co-op if you're doing it online. But man, just to briefly mention, because I watched this trailer so many times, this looks so glorious. Unreal Engine 5 and Halo Campaign Evolved just go so well together. I can't wait to get my hands on this. Again, we'll go into more detail when we get into the news later on, but I just had to mention, I can't believe we're getting a remake of the very first Halo campaign. I am so excited to play this. It looks amazing, dude. It looks amazing.
And unfortunately, I don't know if you want to disclose this, but you were supposed to have an early hands-on this game, and unfortunately missed out on the window, which is too bad, because when I heard about this ahead of time, because I also received this email, I thought, oh my God, incredible. You're getting early access to this, but no, unfortunately, no chance.
I just missed it, dude. To say that my heart fell into my stomach would be an understatement. I was so bummed out, so bummed out. But hey, it happens. That's the way it goes sometimes. So hopefully I'll get the chance in the near future to get my hands on Halo Campaign Evolved, because it's awesome. But yes, that was soul crushing, Uno. That was soul crushing.
And it's fascinating. Like, they announced this thing. It'll be coming out next year, 2026. And it's also right off the bat, it will be launching on Xbox, PC, and PS5, which that's kind of an unreal thing. We were talking about this in the previous weeks on our podcast, but I think Halo and maybe Fables are the last two to ever make it to Sony, and now it's only Fables, I believe, because I don't think Fables 1, 2, or 3 has ever made it to PlayStation. Every other major IP that Xbox owns has now been on PlayStation in some way, shape, or form. Infinite hasn't made it over, but finally a Halo product has just made it to PlayStation as well.
Yeah, that to me was the craziest one. Because like when you think of Xbox, at least for me, and I know a lot of people, you just think of Halo. That's a Xbox franchise through and through. That's the Xbox franchise. So to see like pre-orders going up on a PS5 store is just, it's bonkers to me. It's wild. But again, I stand by this. If this means a bunch of people who have never played Halo before get the chance to play it and experience and love this franchise like I do, then that's an awesome thing. But it's still so wild to see. It's so wild to see.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I thought they would be the most protected IP that Microsoft owns, at least on the Xbox side. But now it's going to, day one will be on PlayStation, and that's kind of a sign of the times. And we'll be discussing that further. We'll discuss Halo as well as some Microsoft news in our news portion, which will be happening right after this. Welcome back. It is time for our second segment of the show. And as always, before we talk about the news of the week, we have to do our brand new segment, and that is the producer quiz. What do we have this week as our 3 questions to test our trivia, Chugs?
Yeah, first of all, I think this and the community mailbag are definitely, they've become my 2 favorite segments. And this, I'm looking at these questions, Uno. This is going to be a hard week.
I think I'm fully stumped this week. I actually don't know these answers, where usually I think I have one.
God. Okay, so question number one. Which of these famous celebrities did not star in their own video game? A, Mr. T, B, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, C, Bill Nye the Science Guy, or D, Mark Wahlberg?
Okay, so I know at least one of these guaranteed has
Yes,
a video game. I can at least think of one. I don't know about the other three, but I have a pretty good suspicion that Mark Wahlberg's never had a video game.
That was going to be my guess too.
Yeah.
That was going to, like, we know for sure. I think the one that you're talking about definitely is Mary-Kate and Ashley, right?
Yes, they've had one or two games, I believe. They have a pony game, and I think they have like a racer game as well.
But no, same here. And that's what my heart was saying too. My guess is going to be D, Mark Wahlberg. Total guess, but that's my guess.
And I remember Bill Nye having a Game Boy game, I believe, at one point.
Okay.
So I think I would not be surprised if this is a twist and Mr. T is it, but I would deep down, there's no way Mark Wahlberg has his own game. So I'm going to go with Mark Wahlberg does not have his own game.
Yeah, me too. So same answer. Question 2. The design of the Moogles from Final Fantasy is inspired by a blend of a bat and which other real-life animal? Is it A, koala, B, cat, C, bear, D, albino ferret?
Man,
God,
don't know.
I don't know either. I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan.
Man, a koala. That's what I'm going for.
I was leaning towards picking koala as well, Uno, but I'm gonna pick a different answer so we don't pick that.
Okay.
But I want to say koala too, but I'm gonna go D, albino ferret.
All right.
That's what I'm gonna go with. 2 D's in a row. And question 3, these are tough. Question 3, in which video game did Waluigi make his first appearance?
Ooh.
A, Mario Tennis, B, Mario Golf Advance Tour, C, Mario Party 2, or D, WarioWare Inc. Mega Micro Games. Oh man.
So the hardest part for me is I cannot tell you what came out first from this.
I know. I can't either. I'm gonna guess A, Mario Tennis. That's what I'm gonna guess. I'm leaning towards that.
Feel like WarioWare would be a good one, but I think it came out after Mario Party 2. And so I think Mario Party 2 is going to be my guess. But I'll be honest here, this is the one by far I have no idea.
Yeah.
And I love Waluigi. I just can't, for the life of me, remember his first game.
Waluigi's the best. Waluigi's the best.
Damn right.
Okay, so a little recap. With question 1, we both picked D, Mark Wahlberg. With question 2, you picked koala. I picked albino ferret. Question 3, I picked Mario Tennis. You picked WarioWare.
Someone should walk away a victor this week, but we will see. We could be wrong also on all 3.
Yes. Oh, man. Yeah.
Find out the answers at the very end of this episode and play along with us as well. Let us know how well you did in our comments, youtube.com/AEW Games. That is where our video podcast is published. All right, let's talk the news of the week. We actually talked a little bit about this before, but of course, Halo Combat Evolved is coming out. We talked about it. It's coming out to PC, Xbox, PlayStation, which is a big one. In next year, around the 25th anniversary. But there's some other little details as well that may not mean much to me, but for you, who's someone who knows a lot about Halo, the first one, maybe you could talk about the added stuff they're doing on this version.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, I know we talked about, this game releasing next year, how exciting that is, how wild it is that it's coming out on PlayStation. But just a couple of small details just to briefly mention is, first of all, one thing I'm really intrigued by with this campaign Evolved is they're actually doing 3 prequel missions, which is so hard for me to imagine what they would do because of the way that Halo Combat Evolved starts. But I'm excited. The fact that there's 3 prequel missions, there's more juicy lore with Halo Combat Evolved. I absolutely love that. So I'm excited to see that. Again, too, the detail in this, there was this one clip that I saw where it was like you saw a hunter and the worms, which hunters are made of worms. You could see the worms moving, which was really, really wild. That is so, so cool. Also, a big addition in Halo Campaign Evolved. You can sprint. You can sprint, which is absolutely wild. You for sure could not sprint in the first game.
That's a big deal for people who've been playing a lot of Halo.
Yeah. That's a really, really big deal. So that's a huge one. Also, the pistol is going to be just as powerful as it was in the original, which is very, very exciting because let me tell you, that Halo Combat Evolved pistol, me and my brother, we played Halo for years and years and years. We still do play. And he, to this day, his favorite Halo weapon of all time is that pistol. He was so good at those 3 headshot kills. He used to just destroy me. So it's good to know that the pistol will still be there and still be as powerful as it always has been. Obviously, we're going to get some more detail as time goes on, but I am so excited for this. I absolutely will be playing it day one. Halo Campaign Evolved is going to be sweet.
Yeah, and this also brings into like perspective the larger Microsoft plan as well, because we've been discussing this. We've been discussing the low retainership on the Xbox Game Pass, or how most of their IPs are now coming to Sony. Their console is not selling nearly as well. The cost of the consoles are going up, although we could pretty much go hand in hand with tariff costs on that. That's probably part of the issue there. But we were also questioning in the last few podcasts if Microsoft would even bother making a new console. And it looks like they actually came out and discussed it a little bit, because as early as this month, very early in this month, they've said that there will be an next-gen console after Series X and S, and they've announced that they have an agreement with AMD to make it happen and work together. But what's different about this one is they also alluded to the Ally that now just came out, which we had discussed about this before, but it comes out in 2 models, a model that's in the $650 price range, I believe.
Yep.
And then there's a $1,000 price range, which is the high-end version, double the speed, double, the actual storage space as well.
Yeah.
Now, with that coming out just recently, and with this partnership with AMD, Microsoft actually came out and talked about their next console will be a next-level performance, cutting-edge graphic console with unmatched compatibility. It will play with everything previously on Microsoft, which I do appreciate on Microsoft consoles. They've been fully compatible with the Xbox game library. But they did say that you're kind of starting to see what we're going for with this handheld and the cost of them. They want a next-gen console to be very premium, very high-end curated experience. This is according directly to the Xbox president, Sarah Bond. So they are looking to price it fairly high, I believe. At least this is what the insinuation is. And probably make the closest thing to a gaming PC console humanly possible. I think if next console Sony comes out and they're still trying to aim for that $600 to $700 tier, I think Xbox might go the opposite direction and be like, this is $1,100 or $1,200, but you will not have anything that competes like this unless you build yourself a $2,000, $3,000 gaming PC.
I completely agree with you. I think that probably is the plan.
I think
they want to make something. They definitely are planning on making the most high-end home console that you can get, probably at that time. And we've been wondering forever about the combination of like a console experience, but with like PC power, what that would look like and what that would seem to be. And obviously the attention to detail too, with them saying the connection with the ROG Ally and then their next console. It sounds like they're going to go all out and try to just make a powerhouse of a console. But like you said too, it'll be interesting to see how powerful this thing really is. It's hard to imagine that any home console would be stronger than like the most high-end PC, just because that's constantly evolving and changing. But to have like the comfort of the console experience with a super, super powerful unit like whatever Xbox's next home console is, it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see.
Yeah, I'd be fascinated to know like how large of. Well, first of all, we don't really know what the other consoles are going to be like quite yet.
Right.
I don't think we're getting a Switch 3 at the same time as PlayStation 6. If anything, no. I think the Switch will get a second tier of the Switch, the current Switch 2. maybe even before PlayStation 6 comes out. But let's say in a hypothetical world where PlayStation 6 and Xbox is coming out, I wonder how big of a leap graphically and processing speed wise an Xbox premium console can really be compared to, you know, a baseline PS6. I would love to, like, I can't wait to see this, because if it is dramatically different and to play a higher end game, if you want to play it to its best, you'd have to play it on Xbox. I could see a lot of people who are like console purists still getting the Xbox just to make sure they have the highest experience. Because if you're comparing it to computers, let's say this costs $1,200. Well, an active build of a premium computer nowadays, your graphic cards is almost the cost of that. So I could see that actually being a good gamble for them as like some middle ground between a console and a PC built for video games. Because I built my PC for video games 3 years ago, and I'm not saying it's obsolete, but I think there are consoles that run just as well for video games as my computer does nowadays. So might be worth the gamble for Xbox. I'm really curious to see how much of a leap forward it'll be compared to the other console. But for all we know, maybe Sony's working on something just as crazy as well.
Exactly. That's so true. And you never know what Nintendo is going to do. I know generally Sony and Microsoft seem to try to release stuff at the same time, almost as competitors. Nintendo obviously does its own thing, but I think too it'll be interesting as well when this console does eventually release is the combination between like adding other storefronts, kind of like they've done with the ROG Ally. Like I can imagine you opening the next generation of Xbox and you having like this seamless controller experience with Steam or Epic Games, or like that sounds really, really wild. I feel like that's probably where they're going. And for a lot of people for a lot of people who want to like dip their toe into the PC world, this could be like a perfect gateway, I think, to that, because Xbox's whole thing has been, you know, we want you to be able to play whatever titles you want, wherever you want, have access to the most games to play. So but I can only imagine how this thing's going to unfold. Yeah,
if Sony is just still going to do their own IPs and never touch anything else, it doesn't matter if Xbox releases a Halo or something on there, because their console could play the entirety of a PC library on top. That really becomes a bang for your buck at that point, especially if you're opening it up. And if they open it up to video services again too, like I think there's a lot of stuff on PlayStation that can't go through. But if you're running a base Microsoft account or whatever Windows would run on this console, there's a lot of integration you could do with other stuff. It could really open up to a lot of other things. So yeah, very, very exciting news, especially because we didn't know if Xbox was on the down-tread. You know what I'm getting at. Hopefully this is good news for them. Very excited for what Xbox might showcase in the future.
Me too. Very happy to hear this.
Yeah, big time. Some video game news here. Fallout 4 is actually coming out with an anniversary edition that is kind of coming out around the same time as Season 2 of Fallout the show. The anniversary bundle for Fallout 4 includes all 6 official add-ons, but the interesting thing that I think is really cool about this game is that they just announced this. They also will include 150 pieces of Creation Club game mods, which means they got 150 people made these Creation Clubs items and stuff, and are now integrated into their video game, which I think is very fascinating. This will be coming out on all consoles and Switch 2. Switch 2 will come out 2026, but the rest of them will come out November 10th this year. This is also just following, they did a big graphical update earlier in the year as well for Fallout 4. So the Fallout 4 game does feel somewhat newish as you play it. And they also built a new in-game creations menu, which makes it easier for you to discover and download content from professional developers and fan creators who are making content for your Fallout game. So I think that's very cool. That's fascinating. I think just a way to make a bit more money considering how popular the Fallout TV show is doing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Or has been.
And then if I'm understanding this correctly, it seems very much like they're at least integrating the idea of mods on console.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah, which is so cool. Normally you can only do that on PCs, obviously. So to integrate that on console or something like Switch 2, that's really cool. And like you said, with the timing of the Fallout television show, which is just was such a hit. This is a really, really cool idea. Fallout 4 was the first Fallout I ever played, so I'm excited to check this out.
It's and I actually get the itch to play it all the time. I played the little bit of Outer Worlds that I played. I was like, man, I would go back to Fallout 4. It's just the right amount of mindless in between, like the story beats that I like.
Yeah.
So yeah, great news for them. New stuff there. We also got a big Kirby Air Riders. That's the sequel to Kirby Air Ride. Kirby Air Ride, I believe that was on GameCube. Anyways, the sequel to that game is coming out on Switch 2. This is the second direct to come out for this. The first one was notorious for being long. It was 45 minutes long. This second one that just released was an hour long. So almost 2 hours of just explaining what this game is in directs only, which I guess is a good sign, I think, for this game to get this much advertisement. It's also getting an online demo event next month, so you're going to be seeing more of it. Anyways, what we got announced from this one, we got the Top Ride mode. That's the over-the-top isometric racing mode that was in Kirby Air Ride, is getting a revamp. It's going full 1080. It's got new maps. It's got every racer on it. It is now in Kirby Air Riders. They also announced a brand new campaign mode, essentially, called Road Trip, which is a brand new mode exclusively for Air Riders. You choose your racer, you go off across the country and world. Obviously, you're in the stars, so I assume it goes beyond just the country. And it mixes and matches Top Ride and Air Ride, the two modes, as well as other stuff like mini games as you progress through your single player. You could also play as Kirby, but you could also be King Dedede, Starman, Waddle Dee, and a bunch of other characters as well. They also talked about some of the online modes, including, you'll be able to play Air Ride, Top Ride, as well as City Trial, which is a bunch of accumulation of other mini games online. You will also get to create your own license, so that will show you your power as a player, but also kind of your unique little spin on it. And then they also showed that we're getting 4 new maps compared to the previous game. This is on top of the 9 maps that are returning from Kirby Air Ride, as well as we're getting a bunch of new characters, I believe 8 in total, Rick the Hamster being the most impressive of them all. But you got Taranza, Lololo, and La La La, the Roach, Rocky, Rick, Scarfy, Marks, and Waddle Dee. These are all completely new characters that will be coming out for this game specifically, and a bunch of new vehicles. If you played the first game, they've got a bunch of new stuff as well. And there's a ton of other small little things as well, including new headwear that they can wear on top of your characters, and they came out with amiibos as well. They seem to really want this to do well, which I think is exciting on its own. I still don't know if I care about this game.
I've never played the original, but I will say enthusiasm and excitement is contagious. So to see the amount of people who are so excited for this, and the bits of clips that I've seen and stuff, I feel like I'm definitely going to check this game out.
I have to try it, I think, for sure.
Yeah.
The demo, so there will be a global test ride for Nintendo Switch Online membership owners, including November 8th, 9th, 15th, and 16th. They will have little 6-hour spats that you can go in and get the demo and play a little bit of it. This is all before its release on November 20th. So we are seeing a release very, very soon, less than a month away. Plenty of new content. I'm very curious to see how this will do. Especially on a year that Mario Kart already came out, Sonic came out as well. It's another racer game, but this one does seem like it has a lot more to it.
Yeah. I don't know if this will be, a best-selling Nintendo Switch game, but I do think it's going to do well. I really do. I think it'll do solid.
And then two more little pieces of news I want to talk about. First of all, Borderlands 4 just came out recently. It does seem like it came out and no one was talking about it because it came out during such a strong month of releases. Well, good news. Borderlands 4 has generated the highest launch month in dollar sales of any title in the franchise's history. So it's outsold by 30% the previous holder, being Borderlands 3, which I did not know Borderlands 3 did so well, but I think that's compounding. Like we talked about this off screen, but Borderlands 2 did so well critically that the next one played and sold very well. Well, now it does seem like this one is done even better because the opening month they sold 30% more. It was the best seller on both Xbox and PC storefronts for the month of September. And already in this year, it's the third highest sailed. So I think that's in units of sale. I cannot confirm by 100%, but it's the third highest sold of the entire year. The first two will actually surprise you. It seems like NBA 2K26 and Capcom's Monster Hunter Wilds has sold the most. So that is first, second, third being Borderlands 4, which is crazy impressive because that game's only been out a month.
Yeah, I'm so happy about this. Again, I got to jump back into this game, but from the 5 or 6 hours I did play of Borderlands 4, it's really good. I'm really enjoying it, and I enjoyed 3, but I'm liking 4 even more than 3. Mm-hmm. So to hear and see that this is doing so well, it not only makes me excited for Borderlands, but really makes me want to jump back in. I gotta get back on Borderlands 4.
It's doing incredibly well. It's about to drop a bunch of patches. They have a day 30 update, which is a bunch of patches and some small content stuff that is due any minute now. Day 30 should be later this week, I believe. And on top of that, on top of breaking monetary gain and selling a ton of copies, it also set a peak concurrent player number record for the entire franchise on Steam. No idea how well it's doing on Sony and Microsoft, but that is a good indicator of how well it's doing right now. It's already got more players actively playing the previous games, as well as selling out compared to the previous games as well. So good on Gearbox. They're doing incredible with this release. Good for them.
Yeah.
And now talk about Steam. Here's the last little bit of news I want to talk about. There has been over 12,000 video games released in 2025 on Steam alone. And if you did not know, to sell your game on Steam, you must pay $100 to display the video game. Now, over 5,000 of those video games did not even make $100 in revenue to recover the $100 fee on Valve's store. This is according to research made on Valve's store itself. 5,000 games didn't make the $100. 8,000 of those games made under $1,000, meaning that only 7,000 of the games made over $1,000 in revenue. It's estimated that only 8% of releases made more than $100,000. Which is crazy because most video games cost like millions to make. At least the high-end stuff, but even mid-tier games still cost about $1 million to make. That's kind of wild.
That is wild. It is wild, and it just further confirms how. Because I was asking you about this before we went live, where I was like, I'm really curious. How many games are released on Steam, every day, every week, and then to hear 12,000 in this year alone is just it's so wild, the amount of games that are available on Steam. But yeah, this number is pretty interesting. But it again, there's so much access to so much stuff. Mm-hmm. To try to stand out has got to be really difficult for a lot of people who are making games. It's got to be hard.
And that means on average, there's about 5-6 games, especially by the end of the year. This will be more than 12,000. We'll probably reach 15, 16,000. That means 5 or 6 games per day have been releasing on Steam alone. We're not even talking, itch.io has their own platforms that doesn't touch Steam. We've got, obviously Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony.
Mobile.
Oh my gosh.
God.
I didn't even consider mobile. Mobile probably has 15 a day coming out as well.
Right.
That's an unreal amount of video games. It does not surprise me that not that many of them make video games, but it is odd and wild to actually see the numbers in front of us. Just shows you of that, only 8% of them are probably making money back in any percentage. A lot of them is probably losing money, at least in the development phase. I would love to see. I tried to look up the research on this, but I would love to see previous years if there is a downtrend on this stuff, or if there are more releases this year than previous years. Because I do know, like, previous years, Steam, we didn't have as many games that would come out every day. I just think the ease of access of making a video game nowadays, and plus just like the prevalence of video games in the last 10 years and as a media piece, and just how much money it's been making. More people have been trying to make video games, I believe, of all levels.
Which is great.
I would love, if you are listening to this and you see a reportage on previous numbers about this stuff, let me know. youtube.com/AEW Games. I would love to read into this, because I find this very, very fascinating. Do find us there, please. All right. On that note, it is done for the news, but that is not it for our podcast, because our favorite segment of the show, the Arcade Mailbag, comes to you right after this. Welcome back. It is time for our favorite segment of the show, the Arcade Mailbag, brought to you by our good friends at Upper Deck. Upper Deck actually supplied us with some cards to unpack today. We've got a metal pack, of course. That is the most recent 2025 AEW deck. That is the holographic covers. Some of our favorite cards have come from that. What do we have today, Chugs?
I love it. I love the metal packs. Starting off strong.
Ooh, Mother Wayne got her own card. Sheeta. Yeah. There's a Chris Jericho. This one's a Ring Hero card. I've not seen one of those quite yet.
Yeah, that looks cool. That looks really cool.
Cope and FTR when they were a trio. There's their Uno Dos Trios card.
When they were friends.
There is Riho.
And
and finally Mercedes Moné.
Very good pack. Very good pack.
All holographic. Honestly, some of the best cards we've pulled have been from these packs. You can get your metal packs right now. But that's not all. You can also get the new AEW memorabilia launch from Upper Deck. Authenticated features a standout autograph piece like Adam Copeland's Rated R Superstar print, Kenny Omega's Flying High Gold, or Chris Jericho's Fozzy Lionheart in London. For the first time, you can also collect Hangman Page's signed cowboy snapback, the Young Bucks inscribed Reebok pumps with Superkick and Party inscriptions, as well as MJF's plaid cashmere scarf. Each piece brings personality, style, and a touch of wrestling history to your collection. Visit upperdeckstore.com or click the link in the show notes to grab yours today. Thank you to Upper Deck for bringing you this segment today. We have 3 questions as always. If you want your questions answered, go to tbs.com/arcade mailbag. That is where we pick our questions from. What do we have question-wise today?
Yes, we have 3 really, really great questions. And the first question is such a good question. This is from Corey. Corey, thank you very much. Hey, Chugs and Uno. My birthday is coming up. Happy early birthday. And I'm deciding to go big and treat myself. I wanted to ask you what you recommend purchasing: a Steam Deck OLED, Xbox ROG Ally, or a Nintendo Switch 2? Thanks, guys.
Ooh.
Corey, this is such a good question, and it's going to be kind of a long answer, because I think, at least for me, as far as helping you make this decision, there's a lot of factors that you're going to have to decide on. First and foremost, I feel like if Nintendo Switch exclusives and ease of access is really, really important to you, like you just plug a game in and play, or download it and play, and once again, getting all those juicy Nintendo exclusives, Switch 2 all the way.
Yeah.
It's a powerful console that will also be able to play a lot of incredible third-party titles as well. Now, if you want to have the most options at your disposal to play what we were just talking about. Over 12,000, much more than that, thousands and thousands of games. And you do kind of want to be able to customize a little bit and maybe dip your toe into the PC market. The Steam Deck OLED is an absolutely incredible choice. The OLED screen is currently my favorite screen for a handheld console. So if you want more freedom there, being able to play PC and Xbox and PlayStation and stuff like that, then Steam Deck OLED. And if you are looking for just raw power, like the most powerful handheld that you can possibly get, also with even more customization and possibilities because of Windows, the Xbox ROG Ally X is going to be the way to go. So again, those are all very important factors that I would ask yourself. Are Nintendo exclusives and ease of access really important to you? Is freedom and thousands upon thousands of different games that you want to play, you want those to be available to you? Or do you want just the most powerful raw power performance that you can get in a handheld? So yeah, I don't really have an exact recommendation for you, but I think those questions to ask yourself will really help you make the decision. And I will say this, you're not going to be disappointed with any one of those purchases.
Agreed. On my side, I'm gonna make this a simplified version. Obviously, if you want to play Donkey Kong or Mario Kart, you should get Nintendo Switch 2. If that is of no importance to you, I believe the Steam Deck OLED is plenty. You'll get a incredible lineup. You can play just about everything. You can play on the ROG Ally as well. Incredible screen. There's no OLED on the Ally at all, so you're still going to get some of the most pristine views on the Steam Deck OLED. Now, if you care about performance and you want to future-proof with handheld games, I think that's when you would go for the Xbox. But at the price point it is now, I think the best deal by far would be the Steam Deck OLED if that's what you're going to be investing into one birthday gift for yourself.
Yeah, great recommendations. And I do want to mention this as well, just very, very quickly, as far as, because I did talk about ease of access with the Nintendo Switch 2 and how easy that is to use. Also, too, to be clear, the Steam Deck OLED, even though it is a handheld PC console, it still is very easy to understand and very easy to turn on and just start downloading and playing games. Once again, I did mention this. The Xbox ROG Ally, you do kind of have to know what you're doing. There's a lot of updates up front where it can seem intimidating, like you're not really sure why this page isn't loading, or, oh, you had to go into desktop mode and update this thing. Again, when it is all updated and everything's working great, it's incredible. It's the most powerful handheld that you can get. But as far as ease of access, definitely the order for me, Switch to Steam Deck OLED, and then the ROG Xbox Ally X. So, but yeah, all great handheld consoles. I think you'll be happy with whatever choice. Uno, I completely agree with you. Corey, thank you very much for the question. Thank you. Next up, we have a question from Dez. Dez says, let me start by saying, Uno, how dare you convince me to pick up Ball X Pit and Clover Pit, knowing that I'm a man of little self-restraint and that I would dedicate dozens and dozens of waking hours to both games, taking up all of my spare time. Shame on you. You made a mortal enemy of my girlfriend who may or may not have pushed me to write this.
Hey, it was worth it. We could both agree.
With that out of the way, I wanted to ask you guys if bad voice acting or a terrible script has ever ruined a game for you. Apologies, Chugs, but Borderlands 3 was a tough play for me due to the writing. The same applies to every Kingdom Hearts game in the series after the first one. Dez, thank you very much for the question. As far as bad voice acting, this is interesting. So, voice acting has come such a long way in gaming, where I feel like now in 2025, if there's bad voice acting, depending on what the game is, it's super noticeable and it really, really sticks out. But back in like the PlayStation 1 era of games, there was a lot of bad voice acting. It was, people were still like trying to figure out how to make games.
It's part of the charm in a lot of ways.
It really was. Like I can't imagine the original Resident Evil 1 with any different voice acting. I love the Jill sandwich from Barry Burton. I can't imagine it any other way. So definitely has not ruined a game for me in that sense. But I think now, in today's day and age, certainly, I think a bad script can definitely make you enjoy a game a little bit less. I'm literally struggling to think of an idea, but I think now a bad script, absolutely, because I love stories so much, so that definitely could impact it. But as far as bad voice acting, like you said, Uno, for me, it's like kind of part of the charm sometimes.
Yeah, I don't think even nowadays bad voice acting very rarely bothers me. I think because we come from a generation where no game was properly acted in, at least when we were kids. So now, like, I'm a lot more willing to accept bad voice acting in a game. Bad dialogue, though, and bad writing is a lot tougher for me. I mean, our friend Des already mentioned this, but Kingdom Hearts 2 onwards are trash to me. As far as story beats, actually, 2 could be okay. Everything after 2, I cannot understand why it went so meticulously bad. Like, it really did just, like, decided to narrow down in the worst parts of Kingdom Hearts and, like, let's expand on those. No clue why they would do that. That's bad writing. But bad voice acting, I don't care, with one exception, and I hate to bring this up because this is the game that I bring back. Feel like every traumatic experience comes back to me talk about Shenmue 3. But Shenmue 3 is supposed to, you know, if it had come out right after Shenmue 1 and 2, would have been a game of its time, which it had bad dialogue and bad voice acting. But, you know, in 99, 2000, that would have been incredible. That would have been incredible to even have an open world game with so much dialogue. For a game that then come out in the 2020s, to have that much bad acting and bad dialogue and bad voice acting as well, that made it very hard for me to keep moving ahead. That felt like a game really frozen in time, that it's a type of game that we've seen played off of the GTAs, any open world game that is story based, that has like a time loop or like has, you know, a life sim element to it, kind of comes back to Shenmue. Yakuza is like that too. Those have grown immensely in all acting, in all dialogue, and story has been incredible too. That to see Shenmue 3 come out in that environment and like still be just as bad as Shenmue 1 and 2, that's really turned me off. But most of the time, I'm not too bothered by it. Story more so than bad acting, I think.
Yeah. Same. Des, thank you very much for the question. I hope you and your girlfriend get back on good terms. Des, thank you. And last but not least, question from Peaky. Peaky says, hello. What's your favorite dog or cat in a video game? I don't know their names, but I love petting the cats in Pentiment. Ooh, Peaky. I love this question. I got an answer for both. Favorite cat in a video game? For a while, it was the cat in Stray. That was my favorite cat in a video game. But since playing the Liza P Overture DLC, there's a cat named Spring that you can buy a little collar for, and he purrs and does little tricks, and he's maybe the cutest cat I've ever seen in a video game or in real life. So Spring is so adorable. That's my favorite cat. And this is not quite a dog, but I look at him as a dog, a lovely, the best dog, the best boy, and that is Torgal from Final Fantasy 16, Clive's companion. He's the best. I have an emote in my Twitch chat, which is Torgal in the middle with a big pink heart around him. That's how much I love Torgal. So Torgal and Spring. Those are my two picks.
I'm definitely going to vote the cat from Stray as my favorite cat in a video game. I'm way more of a dog person than I am a cat person. If you are on youtube.com/AEW Games right now, I'm both wearing a dog hat and a dog sweater. So that gives you kind of an idea of just how much I love dogs over cats. Cats still fine animals, don't get me wrong. But the cat from Stray, I think, is the best cat of all. Dog, though, I have a few contenders for sure. KK Slider from the Animal Crossing series. He's a dog that plays all kinds of incredible tunes. And also, anytime he appears in those video games, while he only really does one thing, it is one of the best part of that video game. All of his remixed versions of his singing, it's not actual singing, but of his versions of the tunes are the best versions of all the Animal Crossing tunes by far. Then we talked about Fallout 4, but not Dog Meat from the Fallout series, which is just the dog that's appeared in Fallout 4 and also played in the original game as well, is... When I play that game, there is no other companion. I don't F with anyone else. I walk around that game with a dog. I feel like post-apocalyptic world, I would want a dog companion with me. Dog meat is one of the very best. And to shout out the one that I'm wearing on my hat, this one's a personal choice, but the dog from Undertale. You'll know which one if you see the visuals on youtube.com/AEW Games, but you probably even know as I refer to it. It's an annoying dog that keeps coming in to do either jokes or being part of combat. He's an explosive at one time in the video game. He does all kinds of weird stuff in the game, but his appearance always makes me laugh in those games, and that's the dog from Undertale.
Great choices. Great choices. And that is the questions for this week. So once again, thank you everyone for sending in these great questions. I love this segment.
Yeah, if you would like yours answered, go to tbs.com/arcade mailbag. That is where you can send your question. That's tbs.com/arcade mailbag. That's not it for the end of our episode, though, because, of course, we answered 3 questions earlier on our producer quiz, and it's time to find out, did we get them right? Tell me, Chugs. Did I get them right?
Okay. I'm a little confused at the answers because I just scrolled down. Did you scroll down? Do you see?
Yeah. Wait. What the hell?
I think I know. Okay.
I think that was supposed to be the first one, not.
Yes, I agree. I agree. So the first question: which of these famous celebrities did not star in their own game? The answer was A, Mr. T. So first, there are 9 Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen games, Game Boy Color era, all the way to GameCube PS2 era. Bill Nye the Science Guy, Stop the Rock was an educational video game based on the TV series for Windows and Macintosh in 1996. And then C, Mark Wahlberg had an FMV Sega CD game in 1992 called Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, Make My Video.
Yo, I want to play that game so bad. Whoa.
So bad, dude. So bad. Crap.
Neither of us got that one.
Neither of us got that one. Question 2 is the design of the Moogles from Final Fantasy is inspired by a blend of a bat and what other real life animal? Uno, I wish I would have went with my gut. I wish I would have stuck with you, but Uno, you are indeed correct. The answer is koalas. Koshi Ishii originally came up with this design when he was in elementary school. So
Crazy.
Uno, that is one. That is one for you. And last but not least, question 3: in which video game did Waluigi make his first appearance? The answer was A, Mario Tennis. So we are tied. We were tied today.
Making it, I believe, a total of 5 and 3. You've had 5 wins. I've had 3. We're adding 1 apiece on this one.
Okay, I like it. I was curious how we were going to do that. If we was going to cancel each other out. But that is the producer quiz this week. I love this because we learn something every time.
I had no idea about that. There's no way that Mark Wahlberg game is real. But then Sega CD, I was like, well, I don't know that library at all. I have to go try that out.
Exactly. I'm going to YouTube that like right after we're done filming this.
As always, thank you to you all for listening today. As always, Monday is the day our podcasts come out on all podcasting networks, devices, applications, wherever you want to find podcasts. That is where you will find the All Elite Arcade podcast. You can also find our video format at youtube.com/AWGames. See our beautiful faces as well. If you subscribe, you get access also to the Bronami code, MXM's weekly show on Thursday that drops them and wrestlers from backstage at AEW Play Video Games, whatever that video game of the week may be. Also, thank you to our producers, as always. They helped do this quiz, but they also help us do so much more.
Yes.
This podcast only happens with them. And so on top of you all, I would like to give them an immense thank you as well. We will be back next week on Monday in the wee hours of the morning or at noon Eastern Standard Time on YouTube for another episode of All Elite Arcade. As always, I'm Yul Uno. This is the Chugs. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you or listen to you next week. Bye-bye.